Anyway, yeah, he came off the edge. The tight end released. The back released. Now, I feel like the back sold him because he saw him running free. I feel like the back might have sold him a little bit. He just threw that little wrist, that little flipper out there and just let him go, and was just probably assuming that, Rich would see it and hit him in the flat, the flare. But Richardson didn't turn around, and he was hit tremendously hard, dislocated his finger. He said he's okay. It's a little sore, a little tender. They put it back in place. But, I mean, is this a concern? How important is this preseason for Richardson, Anthony Richardson, to maintain an opportunity to be a starter for the Indianapolis Colts, knowing that Daniel Jones is right there in the wings holding? Did not have a bad game, by the way.
For me, anybody that hasn't experienced success in the National Football League, every game you play in, especially the preseason, is important. And so for Anthony Richardson, my thing is this.
1-1. He might have hit one out of the ballpark there. Out to right and deep. Second deck. He squared the bunt 2 pitches ago. And Kyle Stowers rips number 16 into the seats. Tied at 1, bottom 2.
Miami Marlins baseball is on deck.
Pitch to Connor Norby. He drills out to right center and deep. Frelick back. Track wall. It is gone. Connor Norby. He's getting right. 1-1 pitch. That one hammered out to left center field and deep. Martian Rojas back. They're looking up, and it's gone. Wag attack. A 2-run homer.
Marlins on deck. Brought to you by ADT, the official smart security partner of the Miami Marlins, and Norwegian Cruise Line. Experience more at sea. Let's head out to the ballpark. Here's your host, Steven Strong.
All right, nice job, Ahmed. Welcome. We are live from Truist Park, home of the Braves since 2017, high above the field and inside the broadcast booth on a 78-degree Saturday afternoon. You're listening to Miami Marlins baseball on the radio, Fox Sports 940 Miami. Game 116 of 162, and last night was like clockwork, and the response after a disappointing Thursday night loss was divine. Today, we've got some double trouble on the horizon. What's better than 2 Marlins games in a day? Sit back, relax, and hang out for the next 10 and a half hours as we steer you through this split doubleheader. We are pumped to bring you Game 3 of this 5-game NL East clash between the 48 and 67 Atlanta Braves and your now 57 and 58 Miami Marlins. Ryan Gusto, he was traded 9 days ago from Houston to Miami. He will make his Marlins debut. He is the 27th man on the roster. He will go opposite another unknown, Hurston Waldrep, 23-year-old right-hander who will make his 3rd career start for the Braves. Came into a big-time situation last week in Tennessee during that Bristol Speedway game and did a really nice job. He will start for Atlanta today. We get going for Game 1 at 1:15 right here on the Marlins Radio Network. Hi, everyone. Thanks for making Marlins on Deck a part of your Saturday afternoon with Jack McMullen and Gabby Sanchez. I am Steven Strom. We got a wonderful show for you ahead. We're going the distance. It's going to be a long day of Marlins baseball, but we are so happy you have joined us, at least for Game 1. Hopefully you hang out again for the next 10 and a half hours. Let's get you the lineup for the show today. We'll get the best bites from yesterday's victory. Edward Cabrera, sensational, 8 innings of 1-run ball. We'll also hear from Ryan Gusto, the starter for the Miami Marlins today. He catches up with Jack McMullen. We'll get you at the count with Gusto and Waldrep. Jack will jump in for segment 4. We got some storylines, our X-Poll question today at Marlins Radio, and Steve's guarantee to victory. So we talked about it. Thursday night was a disappointing loss. Marlins were up in that game with Yuri Perez on the hill. They were up 6-2. They ended up losing that game 8-6. The Marlins were in need of a response, particularly with that doubleheader coming up today, and they got it from Edward Cabrera, who K'd 11. This was the first time this season that he's gotten to 8 innings and the second time in his career. But this was the final out for Cabby. This is how it sounded on Marlins radio.
2-2. Murphy swings and misses. Cabby smacks his glove. He's fired up. And for just the second time in his career, he goes 8 innings. Edward Cabrera has set down the last 8 that he's seen. He's punched out the last 5, and he's through 8 innings of 1-run ball. Unreal performance from Cabby.
Cabrera's ERA now sits at 3.08 over 108 total innings. Cabby, what's your emotions after this type of outing?
Primeramente, gracias a Dios, ¿sabe? ¿Qué te puedo decir? Siempre he hablado de que nosotros los abridores nos gusta llegar lo más lejos que uno pueda en el juego y, ¿sabe? Cuando pasa algo así, obviamente son muchas emociones encontradas.
Yeah, thank God, for this outing. Like I always tell you, once a starter goes beyond, 7 inning like that, that's something important for all of us. 8th inning, something that I'm very grateful for.
Longest start of the season for any Marlins pitcher. And for Edward Cabrera, he matched his career high with 20 starts yesterday. He had already surpassed the amount of innings, now sitting at 108. What is the significance of being able to post every 5th day and stay healthy, Cabby?
No baja la cabeza. Ahora que lo menciona, no lo tenía presente. No sabía que había un match ahí con eso, pero, ¿sabe? Es muy importante mantenerse saludable. Y gracias a Dios, esta temporada me he mantenido saludable, ¿me entiendes?
Yeah, I didn't know about those matches that you said, and that's good to know. But it's very important to stay healthy during the season, and that's something that has been helping me a lot this one.
Well, the 2 biggest questions for Edward Cabrera coming into 2025, can he command his stuff, and can he stay healthy? He has answered those questions emphatically in 2025. Again, he is going into games that we never thought he would get into the 8th inning. And Edward Cabrera has done that. Second time in his career. He has went 8 innings, and yesterday punching out 11. Out of all that, Cabby, what makes you the most proud about what you've done this season?
No baja la cabeza, ¿me entiende? Siempre mantenerme con mi cabeza en alto. No importa la situación, no importa qué pase. Para mí eso es algo que me ha ayudado bastante esta temporada.
Yeah, not giving up. Just keeping my head high. I think that's something that has been helping me a lot this season. Doesn't matter the situation that we have during the season. Just continue and keeping my head up high.
So I'll be honest with you guys, and that was the great Louis Durante, of course, translating for Edward Cabrera. I said that the 2 questions were command and durability, but there were a couple attached to Edward Cabrera, and one of them we saw last night. Responding after giving up a home run, responding after giving up a couple of walks. And that is another part of this season that has gone, I think, under the radar for Edward Cabrera. And when you look at the equation of success, that had to be a part of it. When Edward Cabrera would walk a batter, you would say, oh, here we go. When Edward Cabrera would give up a home run like he did last night, you'd say, here you go. Here we go. Here it comes. Here comes the exploding inning where everything falls apart. Edward Cabrera has done a sensational job this year of not allowing that to happen. You even saw it yesterday. When he did give up his home run, he kind of just said, all right, give me the ball back, whatever, tip your cap, let's move forward. I don't know what has shifted for the 27-year-old right-hander, but whatever this coaching staff, whatever this year has provided Cabby, this is everything that you would have hoped for when you kind of put things together. If you felt like this was, a guy that could figure it out, this is what it would look like. I mean, this is exactly how the Marlins, I think, envision Edward Cabrera turning out to be. And this is why, at the trade deadline, he was not just going to go for a couple of prospects. Peter Bendix knew and knows what he has in Edward Cabrera. And if you want him, you better pay up for him. And the Marlins were happy to keep Edward Cabrera in this organization. Now, let's hear his skipper, Clayton McCullough. Clayton, look, situation giving. You lost on Thursday, needed a good start, doubleheader on Saturday. What was your reaction to Cabby's start yesterday?
A lot of superlatives you could use to describe this outing. Felt like he was in control and got into a rhythm very early on and was able to, he went to all of his pitches. His changeup was very good tonight. did a great job. Him and Gus, utilizing his curveball, and he had the slider he could also use to get down below on left. Sinker was good, so he was able to use both sides of the plate, up, down, access all quadrants with plus stuff. We've talked a lot about the growth that Cabby has shown this year. This was certainly his best outing for me, and then how he stepped on it at the end to finish his outing. I think 5 strikeouts in a row to go back out there for the 8th and put his foot down and finish that with 3 strikeouts. Yes, we needed that in a lot of ways. One, to get the win, and then also with what's coming up with the doubleheader, another game to preserve as many arms as we could. And so Cabby, it was great.
That was Marlins manager Clayton McCullough. 10th time Edward Cabrera has given up 1 earned run or less this season. 5th time in his career with double-digit Ks. The final thing I want to say about Edward Cabrera, he has been just the perfect remedy for this coaching staff. And here's what I'm saying. Last year and years prior to that, the coaching staff was always like, Cabby, throw your fastball, throw your sinker, throw your power stuff, throw that power change. If you look at how Edward Cabrera has done it this year, the curveball has been the pitch for Cabby. They have figured out the nice ingredients to what Edward Cabrera can look like to get to a quality start, to get to the 6th, to the 7th, to the 8th inning now for Edward Cabrera. It's not the power stuff. It's been the off-speed stuff that has really done well for Cabby. Of course, that power change is still nasty. Of course, he can use the sinker, but the 4-seam fastball has not done well as far as opposing batting averages are concerned. So Edward Cabrera, it took this coaching staff, took, of course, him to kind of figure it all out, but this blend of coaching and this blend of maturity from Edward Cabrera, we have seen him blossom into a frontline ace starter for the Miami Marlins. Hoping to see a little bit of Cabby today in Ryan Gusto. We don't know what to expect today, but we will get you ahead of the count. Plus, Jack McMullen sits down with Gusto. We sat down with him yesterday. He is the Marlins starter today, making his debut, traded over from Houston back on the trade deadline for Jesus Sanchez and a couple of other pieces. That is next as we get you ready for game 1 of this doubleheader, 1:15 first pitch. Marlins on Deck continues on the Marlins Radio Network.
33% of the way there.
That's Hall of Famer.
Hit 333. 1-0 pitch. That one looped into shallow left field. Profar coming on. He won't get there. That drops in for a base hit. Hicks going to come in and score. Otto pushes to third. And Jacob Marcy drives in his 4th run at the major league level. This guy's 8 for 17 to open his big league career. And an RBI knock gets the fish on the board. They trail 2-1 at the top of the second. In the lead. 1-2. That one hit in the air, out to right center. That's deep, that's carrying well. Harris is back at the track. He leaps up, he opens the bullpen door, and that's off the wall. It caroms back into center. Wagaman pushes to third, and 2 runs come in to score. A 2-run triple for Wag Attack. Braves of yesteryear.
No.
3-2. That one hit well, out to right and deep, down the line. White on the move, he's looking up, and it's gone! Into the chop house, Graham Pauley. Back-to-back days with a homer. He's got 3 now as a Marlin, and this is a 5-run second. 2-run blast. 5-2 fish.
You needed some more production, and then you turned it into guys who are going to be now producing when you need them to.
1-0 pitch. Augustine lines into right field. That's in on a hop for a base hit. X rounding third. He's coming home. White's throw going to the plate. A little bit offline and just a touch late. And X comes in to score, standing up from second. With 2 men gone, it's an RBI single for Augustine Ramirez, and the Marlins on the board again. It's 6-2 in the top of the 4th.
Trying to win it all again. Posada, slow roller right side. Beckett picks it up, tags Posada, and the Florida Marlins are world champions. The Marlins have stunned the Yankees, shocked New York, and this improbable team, improbable ride, they end up on top, winning in 6.
Ryan Gusto will make his Marlins debut here this afternoon after being traded from Houston to Miami in exchange for Jesus Sanchez. Marlins got a couple other prospects, Chase Jarowski and Esmail Valencia. And again, for Gusto, will make his Marlins debut this afternoon in game 1 of this doubleheader. It's going to be a split one, 12:15 first pitch, or 1:15 rather first pitch, and a 7:15 later on. This is a unique, unorthodox series for Miami. They got postponed back in April, so the Marlins will play 5 games. They've already completed 2 here. Both teams have split. Atlanta took game 1 on Thursday. Marlins took game 1 on Friday. And Edward Cabrera was just simply sensational. 8 innings of 1-run ball, double-digit punch-outs, and really was in rhythm since the beginning of that game. Hi, everyone. Steven Strom here. Jack McMullen, Gabby Sanchez. Those two have your call at 1:15. And we mentioned the 26-year-old right-hander, former 11th round pick in the 2019 draft, Ryan Gusto, who was drafted by the Houston Astros, traded over to Miami. He will start here. He is the 27th man. Remember, on every doubleheader in Major League Baseball, you get to add one more player to your roster, and Gusto was the 27th man. We will see what the future holds for him after this start, but he will get the ball for Clayton McCullough's Marlins, and Jack McMullen got a chance to catch up with him yesterday afternoon.
Thank you very much, Steven. Gusto. I've heard it's Ryan Gusto. How many times have you heard your name pronounced incorrectly?
It is Gusto. I have heard it pronounced incorrectly about 95% of the time. Even when guys know that it's Gusto, it's still Gusto.
Okay, good. So Ryan Gusto, we're not going to mess it up at all. Welcome to the Miami Marlins, man. I know this is not your big league debut. How do the emotions differ now compared to when you did make your debut with Houston?
I think a little bit less nerves, definitely not no nerves. Debuting for a new team is definitely significant. I'm really happy to be here. But yeah, I mean, there's still a little bit of jitters. I'm a little bit more confident in myself now, a little bit more confident that, the Marlins actively wanted me, so I think that's a big boost as well. So I think I'm in a different, space mentally than for the actual debut, of course. But I'm just really happy to be here and get it going.
You were spending the whole year with the Houston Astros before being the headliner in that return for Jesus Sanchez. What do you feel like you learned about yourself as a Houston Astro this year and as a big leaguer for the first time?
That's a loaded question. There's a lot. I threw a really good amount of innings. I did a lot of different jobs over there for the Astros. So I think that I have a lot of, information on myself. And I think the Marlins do too, and they definitely saw something in ways that they can improve me as well. So like I said, I'm just really excited to start, that process.
You were just telling us a little bit off camera about the day that you were traded and the afternoon that you were traded. It really happened at the buzzer. It was in the final hour of the trade deadline. It's not like the, Suarez deal or the Naylor deal where you can sleep on it for a couple of days. What was that whole afternoon and evening, really the next 24 hours like after you learned you were traded to the Marlins?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was super crazy. It's you see the report break online. And at first you're wondering, like, is this true? Did I really get traded? So you get the call that confirms it. You're like, okay, wow, I just got traded to the Marlins. And for me specifically, it was actually, best case scenario because my parents live in Fort Lauderdale. My dad's been going to Marlins games for years. Like, if I had to be traded to a team like the Marlins, this is sick. This is perfect. So really good situation for me and my family. So it was really just, I mean, it did take all 24 hours to really digest it and, understand, like, hey, not an Astro anymore. We're Marlins fans now. Like, this is where home is. But, I mean, definitely, a good transition, and I'm happy about it.
So your dad was going to, like, Joe Robbie and everything. Did he have a favorite Marlin? Like, was he a Jeff Conine guy? Was he a Josh Beckett guy?
My dad has loved the young players. I think probably I'm something to do with that. He likes the rookies coming up. One name several years ago was Trevor Richards when he was starting for the Marlins. Like, he was all about that guy. And so, yeah, just over the years, he's had, partial season tickets and just going out to games. And because, I'm playing far away, so it's hard for him to always hop on planes and come see me. So that's how he gets his baseball fix.
Dude, that is awesome. You made one appearance. It was a whopping 1 inning with AAA Jacksonville. What should we know about you, the pitcher? I was looking at Savant. I see it's a whole bunch of pitches. You're kind of segmented righty and lefty. How would you describe Ryan Gusto, the pitcher?
I like to attack in the zone. I like to use all my stuff, locate around the zone, and just really keep hitters off balance. That's how I like to pitch, and that's what I want to continue doing here.
What are you hoping the Marlins fans see from you in your Marlins debut?
A win.
Ryan Gusto, thank you very much, man. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Steven.
Yeah, that's a good answer. That's a good start for Ryan Gusto. So this whole situation kind of reminds me of what the Marlins had in 2023. The Marlins traded Sean Reynolds and Garrett Cooper to San Diego. Now, Ryan Weathers was a highly touted prospect. There's no question about it. First-round pick. That is not Ryan Gusto. But it's kind of similar with how the Marlins have implemented him into the rotation, right? Ryan Weathers was optioned to AAA after the Marlins traded for him and made a start in Texas. Now, it did not go well, but when you watched it, you said there's something there. The fastball is real. The velo is real. The stuff, all this, it just needed to be harnessed. Can we see that with Ryan Gusto today? I'm not sure what it looks like for him in the future in 2025. He's the 27th man for the roster, so I'm assuming he's making one start and then going back to AAA, but you never know. I think today, I don't really care about the result. As much as I would love a win, I'm more looking at, okay, he's made a handful of starts with the Astros, and let's be honest, he was in the rotation because of the injuries to Houston's arms. Is there something that the Marlins can build off of with Ryan Gusto? Can he be a starter? Can he be a reliever? But I just want to see the stuff. I want to see the specs. I want to open up Baseball Savant. I want to see everything. But I want to make sure at the end of this game I can say, okay, I can work with that. Okay, Daniel Moskowitz, you can work with that. Okay, Alon Leishman, you can work with that. That's what I'm looking for today. I don't care if he goes 6 shutout. I love it. But I more want to get the satisfaction that this guy has the stuff to be a valuable part of this Marlins team moving forward. He will go opposite Hurston Waldrop. Let's get you ahead of the count. We will break here for 2. We're playing at 1:15, game 1 of a 2-game doubleheader, split doubleheader. Marlins took game 1, or fell in game 1 on Thursday, took game 2 yesterday. So good situation here for the Marlins to get ahead in the series. We'll break. We're back in 2 minutes with more on the Marlins Radio Network.
So the Astro defense after this pitch. 0-1. Lopez rips one up the gut. That is through for a base hit. Stowers getting the run around. He will score, and that ties the ball game. Throw goes to third to keep Hicks at second. Otto Lopez makes it back-to-back RBI singles, and all of a sudden we're tied at 2 in the bottom of the first. Here's the classic answer back inning for the Fish. He was pulled. Reliever came on to get the final out. Hernandez hits one high in the air and deep. Out to left. Sanchez is back at the track. He leaps up, and it's gone. Big Bert, homer number 6. Heriberto Hernandez with a solo blast, and it's 5-2 Fish in the bottom of the third. By 2. 2-1 pitch. Paulie drills high in the air, out to right. Smith is back at the track, and it's gone. Into the Astro bullpen, Graham Paulie with homer number 2 as a Miami Marlin. And now the Fish right back to doubling up the Astros. It's 6-3 in the bottom of the 5th.
Graham Paulie here, second home run of the season. Your team finishes off a 4-2 homestand. Why was this game really important before we head out for a 3-city trip?
Yeah, you know, we first series swept the Yankees, which is always great, and then we wanted to come out of here with at least a win at home. You know, we 4-2 is a lot better than 3-3. I don't know, we put a lot of stuff together. We just wanted to keep being the same team that we've always been. So really not a lot changed, but today I think we were just focused and put everything together. So
what did you see offensively against Spencer Arrighetti?
Yeah, he's got a good fastball and really good breaking balls. I think today we did a better job of like keyholing him in a way. Didn't really chase him a whole ton. I think that's why we kind of just singled him to death. Not a whole lot of slug, but you know we put a lot of good ABs together. So
we did get some slug. We got your home run against Hector Neris. What'd you see on the pitch?
Yeah, he's a guy. You know, he's got a good right heater, a good splitter. I wanted to see him.
Marlins Radio Network.
Listen to your Marlins on the go. Download the iHeartRadio app and make Fox Sports 940 your top preset to listen to every Marlins game this season. Ahmed back in the studio. Fox Sports 940 Miami. Steven Strom here. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Game 1 of a 2-game doubleheader today in Game 3 of this 5-game set in Atlanta. Steven Strom, Jack McMullen, and Gabby Sanchez have your call at 1:15. Let's get you ahead of the count. We'll start here with Ryan Gusto, who we just heard from with Jack McMullen, 26-year-old right-hander, former 11th-round pick in the 2019 draft by the Houston Astros. Gusto stands at 6'4", 232, big guy, made the opening day roster this season for Houston. He started as a reliever, and his first 4 games out of the pen, 8 innings of 1-run ball. Then he was converted into a starter with some of the injuries. His first 4 starts, 3.79 ERA across 19 frames. Again, he ends his Houston tenure 7-4, a 4.92 ERA over 86 innings pitched, 24 games, 14 starts. He was traded to Miami in exchange for Jesus Sanchez, and we had mentioned the other guys in that trade as well, Chase Jarowski and Esmail Valencia for Jesus Sanchez. He has never faced Atlanta before, Ryan Gusto. He will feature a four-seamer, a curveball, a sinker, a cutter, a changeup, a sweeper, and a slider. That four-seamer sits at 94 miles per hour. He will go opposite Hurston Waldrep, 23-year-old right-hander, first-round pick in the 2023 draft from the University of Florida. The Atlanta Braves drafted him. He was in Triple-A by September of 2023, made his debut June 9th of last year in 2024, began the season in AAA, but he was called up last week. He pitched in relief. So this was an interesting story here for Hurston Waldrep. That game in Tennessee, the Bristol Speedway Classic, whatever they called it, this game was started by Austin Cox, a lefty for Atlanta. Austin Cox gave up a run, had first and second, and this game was postponed, or this game was in a delay, and they ended up suspending it and starting it the next day. So it's interesting, if you watch Hurston Waldrep start from last week, he came in relief, but he technically started the game when the game resumed the following day, and he did a really nice job. He had first and second with one out. He was able to wiggle out of that jam and ended up going 5 2/3, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, 4 punch-outs. He picked up the win. He was the first pitcher with a win in the state of Tennessee in baseball history. His arsenal, a sinker, a split finger that Jack McMullen will break down in the next segment, a curveball, a cutter, and a slider. So two guys really new to the league. There's not a ton on them. Gusto, of course, has made a handful of starts, 24 games, 14 starts rather with Houston. And then you've got Waldrep, who has really just started to get some experience at the big league level. So a lot of unknown here. Game one should be interesting of this doubleheader. We will break. We'll get Jack on. We got some good storylines today, keys to victory, and an update for the rosters. The Marlins will be without one of their big arms in the bullpen. We'll tell you why next on the Marlins Radio Network.
Visit
Men gone, and the 3-1 pitch. Augustine cranks out to left and deep. He didn't miss a stitch of it. Solo blast for Augustine, number 16 on the year. He got 98 over the heart of the plate and 112 on the way out.
All right, here's the 1-2. I got a question for you guys. That's ripped left center field and deep. Grisham going back. It's going. It's gone. Goodbye. Agustin Ramirez has hit his second home run of the game in as many at-bats against his former organization, the Yankees. 2 solo shots. Have the Marlins up 2-0.
Why do these wins feel a little bit different against this team in front of this crowd?
I think it's just the atmosphere, for sure. Fans are making it feel like they're really special games, and I mean, we're playing good teams. These are the wins you need to get if you want to be one of those really good teams, and we feel like we are.
We saw 25 runs total yesterday between these two teams. You caught a shutout tonight. What separates Yuri from the rest?
I mean, I think he's just scratching the surface of what he could do. I think if you ask him, he didn't have his best stuff tonight, and that's just like a testament to how good his stuff is. I mean, he's going to compete like no other, and he's going to battle with what he's got, and I mean, he's got some crazy gifts.
What happened with the pitch comm? I saw you guys going back and forth.
Yeah, I don't know. He couldn't hear it. It wasn't working. It was only working every few pitches, so we had to figure that out. We were going to have to go old school if we couldn't figure it out.
How do you assess where this team is at right now?
I think we're just taking it day by day. I think everyone in that clubhouse knows how good we can be, and I don't think we're putting too much pressure on ourselves. I think we're literally taking it day by day, just preparing for that day.
Lock. That's 954-500-LOCK or visit LoctiteImpact.com.
Little double dose of Marlins baseball coming up here this afternoon and night. It's going to be a split doubleheader. I remember back here in April, Jack, when this game got canceled. I got to be honest, I was fired up because we got the chance to get back to New York a little bit earlier, enjoy that night. But then you don't think about what happens in August. And we're playing 5 games here in Atlanta. And it's been fun the first 2 days. Awesome performance from Edward Cabrera yesterday, Jack. And we will feast our eyes on Ryan Gusto, intriguing pitcher who the Marlins acquired from Houston in exchange for Jesus Sanchez. Marlins got 2 other prospects. But what is intriguing for you about Ryan Gusto?
Honestly, the heater, like the fastball is the thing that really jumps out to me. And we were talking with Peter Bendix, the Marlins president of baseball operations, after the trade deadline, and he put it simply like Ryan Gusto is a guy that they believe is an above average major league starting pitcher. And you don't get the opportunity to trade for that very often. So when you do get the opportunity to go trade for that and get a guy like Jesus Sanchez, capitalize on that value, send him to Houston, you pull the trigger on that. So they pulled the trigger on a guy who has had major league success. And you walk through the numbers and ahead of the count, like, okay, a 4.9 ERA doesn't look awesome, but at the end of the day, it's his first 80, 90 innings of Major League Baseball. You're going to take a 4.9 over, ERAs north of 6, like we've seen from other young guys around the league right now. But it all stems from the fastball. Gusto feels like a better version and an easier starting point from Connor Gillespie. If you think about Connor Gillespie and, what the Marlins were trying to do with him in spring training, it all stemmed from that really good fastball and the good carry on that fastball. And they were trying to see the arsenal fill out around it. And unfortunately didn't really work for Connor, and he's outside the organization now. With Gusto, the other stuff is there. It's a matter of refining the stuff, but it really stems from a 94, 95 mile an hour heater that carries really well at the top of the zone.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what that fastball looks like up here with the Marlins uniform. Again, you had mentioned he's made a handful of starts, but 48 of his 87 punch-outs this year have come on that four-seamer. Opponents hitting 210, 28% whiff percentage. So it's got some good specs to it. We'll see how he does this afternoon.
Yeah.
Hurston Waldrop, I got to be honest with you, man. I watched you call it a star relief appearance. He came on in a weird situation in that Bristol Speedway Classic and did a really nice job. 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run. The splitter is his pitch, Jack, but what else can you tell us about Hurston Waldrop?
Yeah, work in progress outside of the split, but the split is one of the better secondary pitches in minor league baseball at this point, and that's what's made him a top 5 prospect in the Braves system. Hurston Waldrop was a guy that was really, really good at Southern Miss his first 2 years of college. He transfers to the University of Florida, and the splitter was nasty, and he put together some insane starts, but at the end of the day, we were looking at an ERA north of 4 in his draft year. He was still a first-round pick, but we're saying, okay, why is the ERA that high for one of the most talented pitchers in college baseball that year? The answer is his fastball got killed. The fastball is pretty dead zony. Opponents hit well over 300 against it when he was in college, and he's trying to figure out the right version of his fastball. We're seeing cutter and sinker from Waldrop right now, a slider, but that splitter is the it pitch, and he rode that thing all the way home. In his last AAA start, he went 5 scoreless with 7 punch-outs, and he rode that thing against the Reds in Bristol, Tennessee. It gives off the sensation of a knuckleball. It spins, like when you look at RPMs, typically you see a splitter in the 1,1500 RPM range. His is about 700 revolutions per minute.
Wow.
And knuckleballs are about 500, 400, 500. So what he's doing is he's effectively throwing a, 85 mile an hour knuckling downer pitch, and you have no idea where it's going to go. Yeah, and it's
why
not
don't we have a name
knuckleball
for that, man? It's 2025.
No, you know who it's most similar to? It's very similar to Justin Martinez in Arizona, the closer who we saw, and then Felix Bautista in Baltimore. Now, those guys throw it harder at about 90, but this guy's at 85. It's a really good splitter. It's just a matter of the rest of the arsenal filling out for Waldrop, and they could have a good Major League starter on their hands.
That's Jack McBone. I'm Steven Strom. Thanks again for hanging out with us. Game 1 of this split doubleheader. Okay, Jack, we did have some roster moves today. Congratulations. Anthony Bender placed on the paternity list. Congrats to him and his wife.
Yep.
Ryan Gusto, the 27th man for this doubleheader. Tyler Zuber recalled from AAA Jacksonville. Now, I want to get into the path to victory, particularly with the bullpen today. No Bender is big, man. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to be, probably a couple of days. But how do you piece together game 1 here, particularly with Gusto, who is, making his debut here?
It's pretty darn easy, to be honest, when the starter the day before gives you 8 innings. Like, Cabby going 8 was everything for the Miami Marlins bullpen today. You would assume if they've got the lead after 5, we would see some assortment of Tyler Phillips, Lake Bacher, and then going to Ronnie Enriquez and likely Calvin Fauché again. You're not going to see somebody throw in both games for this doubleheader. That feels very 1961. That's not happening anymore. So you would think if they're in an opportunity to win game 1, we're seeing Enriquez and Fauché come into this ball game. I think Bacher as well. And you could hold like a Tyler Phillips and a Valente Belloso for a game 2. So we'll see how it goes. But you also have the horse on the hill. You have El Caballo on the hill in game 2, and you have a feeling that Sandy Alcantara could absolutely give you 6 at least, hopefully 7 in game 2.
Is the sky blue today?
Yeah, blue
Kind of to the
and
left of us. It's kind of blue.
Yeah, blue and left, gray and white.
Okay,
and right.
And Xavier Edwards had 3 hits again yesterday.
Yes.
So, are you buying into this guy who was at one point in the first half of the first month of the season? You saw him in like the 200. You know what's going on with Xavier Edwards. Now the dude's up to 303. He's third in the National League behind Will Smith and Freddie Freeman. Can this guy win a batting title?
Brother, I was never not bought in, and yes, he can absolutely win the batting title. I look at the 2 guys in front of him. Freddie Freeman is on the other side of 30 by a couple of years. I think Freddie is 33 years old at this point right now, and Will Smith is a catcher. Those guys are superstars. Xavier Edwards has blossomed into a star, but he's not a superstar just yet. But Xavier Edwards, what he's proving right now is this guy year in and year out is going to be one of the premier bat-to-ball baseball players in the game. And those guys stick around, the batting title race. I feel really good about X contending, certainly top 3. I'm not going to call you crazy for saying he's going to win the batting title this year.
Are you ready to do your first doubleheader in the show? I know you've done plenty in the minor leagues.
I've done plenty in the minor leagues, but here's the thing. I never called all 9 in the minor leagues.
Okay.
So this is going to be my first time calling 18 innings in one day, and I'm really excited.
I've got the mate here if you need. I got some tea if you need. Jack, for fun fact,
I've got the walk-off juice right here.
You talk about arm care with pitchers. Jack takes care of his voice. He does the cough drops in his water bottle. He does the Neopot in the morning. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
the Vapor Pot, the Neti Pot, one of those things.
I do the Vapo. I've got, okay, let me show you. I've got the Vapo inhaler, this Vapo stick right here.
Yep.
And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a full water bottle. I'm going to dissolve 2 of these cough drops in the water bottle, and it's going to be like I'm drinking a cough drop the entire
Okay,
game.
stop talking. Stop talking now. I want you to save your voice, so don't talk anymore. Okay, thank you very much. Just nod your head. Nod your head. Yep, thumbs up. Thank you, Jack, so much. Save that beautiful voice. We'll break your Expo question, Steve's guarantee. Then we'll play game 1 of this 2-game doubleheader today. Fired up. Let's get back over 500. Win today, get back to 500. Win for game 2 over 500. Happy Steven, happy Jack, happy Gabby. We're back in 2 minutes on the Marlins Radio Network.
Good questions, but it's not as easy as the guy that worked for the New York Post.
First pitch to Troy Johnston, ripped into the right field corner. That is a fair ball. It short hops off the wall in the corner. They're going to hold Pauly at third, but Hernandez comes in to score from second. His first plate appearance in Miami. He's good based on the skill set. Kyle Stowers was bad for a month this year after he was amazing for 2 months and amazing for 2 more. Stowers hits one high in the air, down the left field line, playable for Dominguez in foul ground. He makes the catch, but Johnson will tag and score from third base. It was in fair territory. If it was in foul ground, Dominguez might have let it drop, but he did make the catch. It plates another
75 and 49 or
49
something,
something crazy.
There's a shot deep right field. Going back is Bellinger. He looks up, and it is gone. Kyle Stowers has done it again. This time a 3-run shot off the lefty. 6-1 Miami. Marcy looking for his first Major League RBI. Rips one deep to center. Grisham going back, turns back, looking up, backhander, off the glove. It hits the wall. Marcy rounding second. He will get his first Major League RBI and his first Major League triple. 7-3 Miami, and the rookie does it again.
Yeah, that's really cool. Obviously, just getting recognized for anything that you do in this game is always really special. I don't take it for granted. Honestly, just kind of more stoked about how we've been playing in all sincerity, and just hope we can keep that going. It feels good to just play winning baseball. What we've done the last couple months, I think, is just kind of take things one day at a time, kind of flush the previous day regardless of whether it was good or bad. And, what great teams do is they prepare to win every day. It's not always just about, winning, it's preparing to.
All right, folks, buckle up here. We're playing game 1 of this split doubleheader at 1:15. It'll be Ryan Gusto who will make his Marlins debut here this afternoon after being traded over from Houston in exchange for Jesus Sanchez. Marlins got a couple other prospects as well. He will go opposite Hurston Waldrop. Marlins looking to get back to 500 here. Steven Strom, Gabby Sanchez, and Jack McMullen. 1:15 first pitch. Got to be quick here. X-Poll question today at Marlins Radio. Edward Cabrera completed 8 innings for the second time in his career. He has done it before. That's why he's done it the second time. Who did he do it against in his first time in his career? Make sure to vote at Marlins Radio. Ahmed, it is time for Steve's Guarantees.
Batter up. Batter up.
Let's play some ball.
First pitch is moments away. Time now for Steve's Guarantees.
We talked about the X-Man creeping up that list for batting average. I like him to collect 2 hits today. I also like Liam Hicks. This is a guy that probably should have had his first home run here in Atlanta. He did not. I think he gets some revenge here. I'm not going to say he gets a home run. I'm going to tell you he gets an extra base hit. Folks, I hope you got the hits for first pitch because when we come back, Jack McMullen paints a picture. Gabby Sanchez, he's ready to rock. Starting lineups in first pitch is right around the corner. Thanks for tuning in to the Marlins On Deck pregame show. I'm Steven Strom. Let's flip the M together, Miami. We got 2 today. This is the Marlins Radio Network.
Miami Marlins fans, we celebrate every